Hi, everybody. Meteorologist Joe Cioffi here. Weather in 5 days in 5 minutes. Brought to you by True Value Hardware, the superstore for rock salt, sand, Pelledo, mag ice pellets and flakes, anything that you need, shovels, snowblower spreaders to get you through this winter season. They serve the entire New York, New Jersey, Connecticut, tri-state area and beyond. Lowest prices anywhere. They're at 1226 North Wellwood Avenue in West Babylon. 631-756-1125. That's on Long Island, by the way. And the website is omnitruevalue.com. So let's take a look. We'll jump ahead to tomorrow. As far as this Arctic front that's moving on through, and it's one of these situations where the front comes through first and the bulk of the precipitation comes in behind it because we have cold air coming down from the north and we've got warm air aloft that's coming up on a southwest flow, so you get some overrunning. It's usually the type of situation that doesn't produce very much. The front is going to slow down when it moves offshore, and a little wave is going to develop on it. Now, most of the snowfall amounts from the Weather Service, and this, by the way, matches up pretty well with what I'm doing, is on the order of a few inches. Coating in some places as you go north and west, an inch or two, or maybe even an inch or three, not impossible. And every once in a while in these types of situations, it's the kind of thing where somebody could wind up with a surprise. I mean, the chances are not all that high. It looks fairly straightforward, but sometimes these systems that look weak can fool you a bit, and then you wind up hearing about somebody that gets a surprise half a foot. I'm not predicting that. I'm just pointing out that sometimes these things happen. And this will be primarily from about 5 or 6 a.m. tomorrow morning, and it should be mostly done by noon to 1 o'clock along the immediate coast. And it'll be ending from west to east. So we're looking at basically a 4 to 6 hour event here. So if you get a little intensity, temperatures will fall down close to the 30-degree mark or even in the upper 20s in some places. That is going to help as far as accumulations are concerned. So just going to watch the radar and the hourly observations going forward. Meanwhile, this afternoon, we've got southwest winds. We're warming up nicely. Temperatures reaching up into the 40s. There's your Arctic boundary. And behind it, the air is pretty cold. We've got temperatures in the teens and single digits. And then you get up into Minnesota and on up into the Dakotas, and you're talking about below zero readings. Now, obviously, we're not going to get the super cold air that's with this, but this cold air mass is actually going to drain fairly far down into the southern states, much like what we saw going into last weekend. And it is going to set up a weather system for later Friday and Friday night that is not going to make it this far north based on what we're looking at. Winter storm watches, by the way, are up for much of central and eastern North Carolina down to the coast, and also for a good chunk of South Carolina down to the coast. And icing could be a big deal here. So we're going to be watching that very closely. We have winter weather advisories also up for Kentucky and West Virginia. They've put the first winter weather advisories up for northeastern Virginia and for Maryland, including the Washington, D.C., Baltimore area. And I suspect we'll have a low-end winter weather advisory that'll probably go up, covering for that inch or two or that inch or three. Now, we'll bring up the folks from the Weather Prediction Center. This is the forecast for tomorrow during the time frame from 6 a.m. roughly until 1 p.m. And you'll notice in terms of the probabilities, the blue shading is 40 to 50%. This is the probability of at least an inch. That 50% probability of at least an inch probably means that you're going to get that. And you'll see that there's one patch over Long Island, also central and southwest Jersey, down into southeastern Pennsylvania, over back into Maryland, and over into the Washington, D.C., Baltimore area. I might have made it a bit, for me, I might have made this a broader brush of 50% and carried it up into northeastern Connecticut. Now, just bear in mind, these are 6-hour time frames. So if I were to jump, say, for the next 6-hour period, it also shows the probability of at least an inch. I think they're a little slow on this and that the bulk of it will be over by that time, but you get the idea here. And in terms of the longer range, we can take a quick peek on this, because there was some question regarding the weekend, and they actually still are leaving. I don't know why. Based on what I looked at the guidance today, I really don't see this getting pretty far to the north. And this is the time frame from Saturday into Sunday. Yeah, down in eastern Virginia and the Delmarva Peninsula, but I don't think it's going to make it. You have a 10 to 30% chance all the way up into southeastern New England. I kind of doubt that that's going to be the case. And then, of course, by Sunday, it's long gone. So just really quickly, as we look at, I'm going to show you the European today. The models are actually fairly similar in how they handle the next 5 to 7 days. So this was, of course, what we're seeing right now on the map there is from Monday evening, the old storm from Sunday night, Monday, lifting up into Canada. We have a little bit of a ridge here in the upper atmosphere today. Now here comes this trough for tomorrow and tomorrow morning. The trough is actually hanging pretty far back to the west. The surface front makes it through, but we've got this southwest flow aloft, which creates the overrunning. That swings on by. Now there's another trough here, and that represents a low that is going to be moving off the southeast coast of the United States. And you see that tilt, that positively tilted trough, we call it, when they're tilted northeast, southwest. This is going to favor a system that is going to run out probably to the east-northeast off the North Carolina coast, and then it moves out to sea. That's going to leave us high and dry and turning colder as we move into next week. Cold air basically overwhelms 2/3 of the United States. And then around the middle part of next week, the models are sensing that there might be a deeper trough along about Wednesday or into Thursday, swinging into the eastern part of the United States. And again, we've seen this set up a couple of times before with a lot of working parts in the upper atmosphere, and it's a little early to resolve all of this. So I'll bring up the surface map, and while the map is coming up, let me just remind you, I should have said this at the beginning, but the Joe and Joe Weather Show tonight at 7 p.m. Eastern, 8:30. Let me get my time straight. 8:30 Eastern time for the Joe and Joe Weather Show, as Joe is doing a talk today at one of the libraries on Long Island. Here's our system for tomorrow. You see the snow kind of bubbles up here during tonight into tomorrow morning, and then the front sneaks offshore. This is at 1 o'clock tomorrow afternoon. I'm showing actual precipitation that's falling and not showing the actual radar. The front sags offshore and stalls again, and then another wave. You see that low that's offshore with snow in North Carolina and ice down to South Carolina. That's for Friday, overnight, Friday night into Saturday morning. It doesn't really make it close. It goes out. The weekend is fine, colder and drier, and then we should be okay until we see this next weather system coming into the east for the middle part of next week. Maybe it develops, maybe it doesn't. We're in this kind of pattern right now where we've got a lot of cold air coming down out of Canada, and sometimes cold air does have a tendency to overwhelm. But we'll keep an eye on things nonetheless. Weather in 5 brought to you by Omni True Value Hardware at 1226 North Wellwood Avenue in West Babylon, New York, on Long Island in southwest Suffolk County, that's serving the New York, New Jersey, Connecticut tri-state area with tons of rock salt, sand, pelleto, mag, ice pellets, and flakes, anything you need to make sure your house is cleaned up and cleaned up good during this winter season. 631-756-1125 is the phone number, and the website, again, omnitruevalue.com. So here's the Weather Services snow forecast map. Matches up pretty much with mine. Up to a few inches of accumulation tomorrow morning into about midday or very early afternoon before it ends. And that, by the way, extends down from northeast Virginia and goes all the way up into southeastern New England. Joe and Joe Show tonight at 8:30, so be there.